The desperate knock. It was almost midnight. Rain was falling hard outside, tapping against the windows of David's small house. The wind howled, making the old trees creak. Inside, David sat alone on his couch, staring at the television. He felt tired and lonely, like most nights since he moved to this quiet corner of town. Suddenly, there was a loud knock at the door. David frowned. Who could it be this late? He wasn't expecting anyone. The knock came again, louder this time. It didn't sound polite, it sounded desperate. He stood slowly, grabbed a jacket, and walked to the door. For a moment, he hesitated. Then he pulled the door open. Standing in the rain was a woman, but not a human woman. She was tall and thin, her skin a shimmering green color that glowed faintly in the dark. Her long dark hair was wet, sticking to her face. Her eyes glowed, yellow, wide with fear. She held a small child tightly in her arms, a little girl, also green-skinned, with large, glowing eyes. David froze. His heart pounded. The woman dropped to her knees right there on his doorstep. Tears mixed with the rain on her face. She clutched the child closer and whispered in a voice full of pain, "Please, if you have a heart, let my daughter in." Next words shocked David. "I can pay you with my body. Please, just let her inside." David felt breathless. The scene before him didn't seem real. An alien woman, a mother, begging, crying, and offering herself just to protect her. Child? For a second, neither of them moved. Then David snapped out of his shock. "Get inside," he said quickly, stepping aside. The woman hesitated, looking behind her at the dark street as if she expected someone to appear at any moment. Then she hurried inside, holding her daughter tight. David closed the door fast and locked it. The room fell silent except for their heavy breathing. The alien woman stayed on her knees, still holding her daughter close. The child hid her face in her mother's chest, trembling. David bent down a little and spoke softly. "Are you okay? What's your name?" The woman lifted her head slowly. Her glowing eyes were full of sadness and fear. "My name is Mira. This is my daughter." Lila. David nodded, trying to stay calm. "Mira, what's going on? Why are you here? Why? Why did you say those things at the door?" Myra took a shaky breath. "We're running, my daughter. She is sick and cold. We have nowhere else to go. Please, I didn't mean to shame myself. I didn't know what else to do." David shook his head. "You didn't shame yourself. You protected your daughter. That's what matters." Mira's eyes filled with tears again, but this time it was relief. She whispered, "Thank you." David moved to the kitchen and brought back a towel. "Here," he said gently, offering it to her. "You're both soaked." Mira took the towel and wrapped it around her daughter first, drying her gently. The little girl peeked up at David, her glowing eyes wide and innocent. David knelt beside them. "Is she hurt?" Mira shook her head. "No, just scared. And cold." He smiled softly at Leela. "You're safe now. Don't worry." But inside, David was still full of questions. Why was an alien mother and child running through the night? Why was she so desperate? She was ready to offer her body just for shelter. And most important, who was she running from? Before he could ask more, Myra spoke quietly. "I know you're confused. I will explain. But please, can we rest just for a little while? Lila hasn't slept in days." David nodded. "Of course, you can stay here tonight." Mira gave a small bow of her head. "Thank you, kind human." David helped them up and led them to the couch. His mind raced. He knew this night wasn't over. Something about this felt bigger than he could imagine. Outside, the rain kept falling. The wind howled louder. And far down the street, headlights appeared, moving slowly, searching. Someone was coming, but David didn't know that yet. Inside his small house, the alien mother and child curled up on the couch. Myra whispered a soft song in a strange language, rocking Lila gently as the little girl finally drifted off to sleep. David sat nearby, watching them, guarding them, and wondering what danger would come next. The hidden past the night was quiet inside David's small house, but his mind was full of noise. He couldn't stop thinking about what had just happened, an alien mother and child knocking on his door, begging for shelter. The way Mira had fallen to her knees, it still felt unreal. He watched as Mira gently tucked a blanket around her. Daughter Lila, who had finally fallen asleep on the couch. The little girl's soft, glowing skin shimmered faintly. Like moonlight, Myra sat beside her daughter, eyes heavy but still full of fear. She looked at David and spoke softly. "Thank you again for saving us." David sat across from her, leaning forward. "Mira, please tell me the truth. Who are you running from? Why did you come here tonight?" Mira took a deep breath. Her hands trembled slightly as she brushed Lila's hair. I didn't mean to involve you," she said quietly, "but I had no choice." She paused, looking down at her sleeping daughter. Then she began her story. "I came to Earth 3 years ago," Mira said. "I was part of a cultural exchange. My people sent volunteers to study humans, learn from them, share knowledge." David nodded slowly. He had heard rumors about alien visitors, but he never thought one would appear at his doorstep. "At first, it was peaceful," Mira continued. "I lived quietly, far from cities. But then I met humans who were not kind. A group. They called themselves collectors." David frowned. "Collectors." Mira's voice grew bitter. "They trafficked aliens. They kidnapped visitors like me, sold them to the highest bidder. Some wanted us for labor, others for experiments." David felt a cold chill run down his spine. He had never imagined such cruelty. "They captured me," Mira said. "They imprisoned me for many months. But then I discovered I was carrying Lila. When they found out, they kept us both alive. They said an alien child would be worth even more." She paused, her face tight with pain. 2 days ago, I escaped. I ran as far as I could. But I knew they would come for me." David leaned back, overwhelmed by her words. The woman sitting before him wasn't just a visitor. She was a mother on the run, hunted by criminals. "Why my house?" he asked quietly. Myra met his gaze. "I had nowhere else to go. I saw your light. I felt maybe you would help. I was desperate. I said things I didn't mean at your door. But I couldn't let them take Lila again." David nodded. He understood now. Her offer. Her desperation. It wasn't about trade. It was about saving her child. "But there's more," Mira added, her voice lower now. "They can track me." David's eyes widened. "Track you? How?" Mira pulled back her hair and showed him a small silver mark behind her ear, a tiny embedded chip, glowing faintly. "This is how they find me," she said. "As long as this chip is in me, they will come." A heavy silence filled the room. David realized this wasn't over. The collectors would come soon and his house was no longer safe. He spoke carefully. "Can we remove it? The chip?" Mira looked uncertain. "It's dangerous. If we try, it might send a signal. Or worse." Before David could reply, a sound broke the quiet. The soft hum of an engine outside. He rushed to the window and peeked out. A black van had parked at the end of the street. Dark shapes moved inside. Myra stood quickly, her body tense. "They're here." David's mind raced. He wasn't prepared for this, but he knew one thing for sure. "I won't let them take you," he said firmly. "Or Lila." Myra looked at him, her glowing yellow eyes shining with gratitude and fear. Outside, a knock came at the door. But this knock was different. It wasn't desperate. It was cold. The dangerous visitors, the knock at David's door was cold, sharp, and steady. It wasn't the knock of someone asking for help. It was the knock of someone who expected control. David's heart pounded as he stepped quietly back from the window. He turned to Mira. "Stay quiet. Stay with Lila." Mira nodded, her face pale, her arms wrapped protectively around her sleeping daughter. But David could feel her fear and something deeper. She was ready to fight if she had to. The knock came again, louder this time. Then a deep voice called through the door. "Sir, this is private security. We're looking for someone dangerous. May we speak with you?" David didn't move. His instincts told him something wasn't right. These men outside, they weren't. Police, they didn't sound concerned. They sounded cold, professional. Mira whispered, "They're collectors. The same group I escaped from. Please, don't trust them." David nodded. He knew already he couldn't open the door. But before he could speak, the voice outside grew sharper. "Sir, we have reason to believe you are hiding an alien fugitive. Open the door now, or we'll come in." David's blood ran cold. How did they know so quickly? Had the tracking chip already given Mira's location away? He turned to Mira again. "Is there a back door?" She shook her head. "No, only this exit. We didn't have time to build an escape plan." David took a deep breath. "Then we have to hide." Just as he said those words, he heard the distinct sound of metal. Someone was using a tool on the front lock. "They're breaking in," David whispered. Myra stood carefully, her arms still around Lila, who stirred gently but didn't wake up. Her glowing yellow eyes flashed briefly. "There's one place," she said quietly. "It's dangerous, but it might work." David frowned. "Where?" Mira stepped quickly to a corner of the living room. She crouched and pressed her palm flat on the wooden floor. To David's shock, a faint circle of glowing alien symbols appeared, something he had never seen before. With a soft hum, a small round hatch opened, a hiding space. David asked. Mira nodded. "It's an emergency chamber. My people taught me to prepare one wherever we stay. It's shielded from human tech. They can't scan it. But if they see the hatch, we're caught." David hesitated for a second, just a second, but then he helped Myra climb inside with Lila. The front door rattled loudly. A loud metallic snap filled the air as the lock broke. "They're coming in," Myra whispered. David squeezed her hand quickly, whispering, "Stay quiet. No matter what happens." Mira's glowing fingers tightened around his for a moment. Then she pulled the hatch closed behind her. The symbols faded. The floor looked normal again. Just as the door burst open, two tall men in black stepped inside, wearing heavy boots and long dark coats. Their faces were cold and serious. Their eyes scanned the room quickly. Behind them, a third figure entered, not human. David felt a chill. The third figure was an alien, not like Myra. This one was taller, with pale gray skin and no hair. Its eyes were completely black, without whites or pupils. Around its neck was a strange device that glowed faintly. The alien pointed a slender finger at David. "He knows where they are," it said in a flat, metallic voice. One of the men stepped forward quickly. "Where's the alien woman?" he demanded. David raised his hands, acting confused. "What alien woman?" "I don't know what you're talking about." The man didn't believe him. He stepped even closer. "We tracked her to this house." "Don't lie to us." David's mind raced. He had no plan, but he couldn't let them find Mira and Lila, so he took a risk. He laughed. The men and the alien paused. Confused, David kept laughing. "You really think an alien would come here? Look around. This place is falling apart. Why would anyone hide here?" The men hesitated for just a second, just long enough for David to keep talking, fast, distracting them. But the alien wasn't fooled. It moved toward the very spot where the hatch was hidden. David saw it. His heart stopped. Then, without thinking, he shouted, "Wait! You can't search my home without a warrant. I know my rights." The two men turned toward him again, their attention shifting, but the alien crouched near the hidden hatch, its black eyes glowing faintly. It could sense something, even without scanners. David felt panic rise in his chest. Any second now. They would find Mira and Lila. The offer David's heart pounded as he watched the alien collector crouch near the hidden hatch. Its black eyes glowed faintly, scanning the floor where Mira and Lila were hiding. David could almost feel its focus, cold, sharp, and precise. He had to do something fast. Just before the alien could reach for the floor, David stepped forward boldly. "Hey, you can't just walk in and tear up my house." The alien collector turned slowly to face him. For a moment, the room fell completely silent, except for the distant sound of rain outside. Then the alien spoke in a low, flat voice. "You know where they are?" David kept his face calm, even as panic burned inside him. "I don't know anything. Get out of my house before I call the police." One of the human men stepped closer, glaring. "The police won't help you. Sir, you don't understand who you're dealing with." David saw it clearly. Now these men were working with the alien traffickers. There was no law that could protect him or Mira. The alien collector tilted its head, studying David carefully. Then it made a strange gesture with its long fingers and, to David's shock, it and the two men simply turned and left. The door slammed behind them. David waited, holding his breath, listening. After a few minutes, silence returned. He fell to his knees, weak with relief, and whispered to the floor, "Mira, it's okay. You can come out." A soft hum filled the room as the hatch opened again. Mira emerged. Slowly, her arms wrapped tightly around Lila, who was awake now but silent, her wide, glowing eyes full of fear. Myra's face was pale. "That was too close," she whispered. David nodded. "They'll be back. I stalled them, but they know something. We need a real plan." Myra sat down carefully, holding Lila close. Her eyes met David's and, in that moment, David could feel her desperation. Then, softly, Mira said something unexpected. "There is one way," she whispered. "One way to escape this, forever." David leaned in, listening carefully. Mira took a deep breath. "There's a hidden portal. Outside the city. My people left it here long ago. If we reach it, I can return to Valora with Lila. We will. Be safe." David nodded slowly. "Then we go to this portal." But Mira shook her head. "It's not so easy. The collectors know about the portal. They watch it, waiting for runaways like me. They will be there, and they will be ready." David felt a sinking feeling in his chest. "Then what do we do?" Kira's glowing yellow eyes locked with his. "I can offer you something. Something no human has ever received before." David frowned. "What do you mean?" Mira hesitated, then reached into her jacket and pulled out a small crystal sphere, no larger than a marble. It glowed softly with blue and green light, pulsing gently like a heartbeat. "This is Valoran knowledge," she said softly. "If you help me escape, it's yours. It contains technology, science, secrets, things that can change human life forever." David stared at the crystal, mesmerized. He didn't fully understand what she was offering, but he felt its importance. Mira's voice trembled slightly as she continued, I was saving this for my return. But I trust you, David. If you help us get to that portal safely, I will give this to you. It will be your gift." David looked at Mira and Leela huddled together on his couch, frightened, exhausted, and vulnerable. But even without the crystal, he already knew his answer. "You don't have to give me anything," he said quietly. "I'll help you. I can't leave you and your daughter like this." Myra's eyes filled with emotion, gratitude, relief, and a spark of hope. But deep down, David also knew this would not be easy. The collectors were watching, waiting. And the next move would decide everything, suddenly. Lila spoke for the first time, her small voice soft but clear. "Are we going home, Mama?" Myra hugged her tightly. "Yes, my love. Soon." David stood up, feeling a new determination inside him. "Then let's get ready," he said. "Tomorrow night, we go to that portal." But outside, far down the street, headlights appeared again. The collectors hadn't left. They were waiting, watching. The real danger was just beginning. The escape plan morning came slowly, but David had not slept. The storm had passed, but the tension in the house remained thick like fog. Mira and Leela sat quietly in the corner, whispering softly in their own alien language. The small crystal Myra had offered still glowed faintly on the table, a reminder of what was at stake. David paced the floor, thinking hard. He knew they couldn't stay here another night. The collectors were watching. He could feel it. Finally, he stopped and spoke firmly. "Mira, we have to move tonight." "You said there's a portal. Where is it exactly?" Mira nodded. "In the forest, 5 miles north of here. It is hidden underground. My people left it long ago for emergencies. But we must be careful. The collectors know about it too." David frowned. "Do they guard it?" "Yes," Mira said quietly. "They have patrols near it all the time, waiting for aliens who try to return home." David felt the weight of their situation. This wasn't just a risky journey. It was a trap waiting to snap shut. "Then we need a plan," he said. "A good one." Myra looked at him, her yellow eyes shining with hope and worry. "Do you have one?" David nodded slowly. "Maybe." I walked to his small shed in the backyard and pulled out 2 old bicycles. "They'll expect a car, not this. We can cut through the woods, away from the roads." Myra smiled faintly. "Clever." But then her face grew serious. "Even if we reach the portal, it's protected. Only a bonded Valoran family can activate it." David tilted his head. "Bonded?" Mira looked down. "Yes. The portal reads DNA and heart rhythms. It knows if we are a family unit." David's heart skipped a beat. "Then, what does that mean for us?" Mira hesitated for a long moment. Then she said softly, "If we want to pass together, we must declare ourselves a family. The portal will test us." David didn't know what to say. He barely knew Mira. Yet, in these last days, they had shared trust and fear. He cared for Lila already, and he could feel Mira's emotions as if they were his own. Finally, he nodded. "Then we declare it." Mira's expression softened, her eyes full of emotion. "Thank you, David. Truly." Leela looked up at David and smiled shyly. "You will come with us?" she asked. David smiled back. "Yes, little one. If the portal allows it." That evening, just after sunset, David, Mira, and Lila prepared for their journey. David packed a small bag with food and water, along with an old flashlight and a blanket. Mira wrapped Lila in a long, dark cloak to hide her glow. Before leaving, Mira gently pressed her finger to the back of her neck, right where the tracking chip was embedded. "This will keep them tracking this house," she explained quietly. "It will delay them." David watched her with amazement. Even in fear, Myra was clever and calm. They left quietly, pushing the bicycles into the woods behind the house. The ride was difficult. The path was rough, muddy in places, full of low branches and shadows. But David led the way, and Mira followed, holding Lila tightly in her arms. Every sound in the forest made David's heart race, a snapping twig, a bird's cry, a rustling in the leaves. But somehow they kept going. After nearly 2 hours, they reached the clearing. In the middle of it was an ancient stone circle, overgrown with moss and vines. In the center, hidden beneath a thick layer of leaves, was a small, round platform, the portal. Myra stepped forward slowly. This is it. David felt a strange energy in the air. The portal hummed quietly as Mira approached, as if recognizing her. But before they could activate it, headlights appeared on the edge of the clearing. David spun around. 3 black vans pulled up quietly and aft. From them stepped the collectors. They had followed them after all. At the front was the same alien collector from before, its black eyes fixed on Myra and Lila. "You ran far," the collector said coldly, "but not far enough." David stepped in front of Mira and Lila, shielding them with his body. "You won't take them," he said firmly. The alien tilted its head. "And who are you to stop us, human?" David's voice didn't waver. "Family." The alien hesitated. For a brief moment, even it seemed unsure. But then it raised a hand, signaling its men forward. The final confrontation was about to begin. The final confrontation. The clearing fell silent as the collectors stepped closer. Their boots pressed into the wet earth, their eyes cold and sure. The black-eyed alien collector led them, its face emotionless but its body tense like a predator ready to strike. David stood firm in front of Mira and Lila. His heart was beating fast. He did not move back. He could feel Mira and Lila behind him, small, fragile, but trusting him completely. The alien collector raised its hand slowly and spoke. "Step aside, human. This is not your fight." David shook his head. "It is now. We're a family." The words surprised even himself, but they were true. He felt it. Even though they had met only days ago, he could no longer think of Mira and Lila as strangers. They needed him, and somehow he needed them too. Myra's soft voice spoke behind him. "The portal will not open unless it senses this bond is real." And now it is. The alien collector narrowed its eyes. "Then your bond ends tonight." The men behind it raised strange alien weapons, long rods glowing faintly at the tips. David had no weapon, no armor, nothing but courage. But Mira stepped forward suddenly. Her skin began to glow brighter than ever before. Her green skin shimmered with silver patterns that moved and swirled like light on water. Her yellow eyes shone fiercely. "I will not run anymore," she said firmly. "I will protect my daughter. And I will protect this man." Before the collectors could react, Myra lifted both hands. From her palms, a surge of light burst forth, a blinding wave of energy that swept across the clearing. The collectors staggered back, shielding their eyes. Their weapons hummed loudly, but they did not fire. "Not yet." David grabbed Mira's hand. "Can you keep them back long enough?" he asked. She nodded. "The portal is almost ready." The portal platform in the center of the clearing was glowing now, lines of blue light tracing across its surface, forming a symbol that pulsed like a heartbeat. But the alien collector recovered quickly. It stepped forward, raising a hand of its own. From its palm, a beam of cold red light shot out, striking Mira's shoulder. She cried out in pain, stumbling backward. The glow around her dimmed for a moment. David caught her before she fell. Lila began to cry softly, clutching Mira's leg. David felt fury rise inside him. He stood tall, shielding both of them as the collector aimed again. And then something unexpected happened. The crystal Mira had given David. The one she promised as a gift slipped from his pocket, struck the ground, and cracked open. A brilliant blue light flooded the clearing. The collectors froze. The alien collector stared at the cracked crystal, its black eyes wide with shock. No, impossible. It whispered. David felt warmth surge through his chest, spreading through his limbs. He looked at his hands. They were glowing faintly now, just like Mira's. He could feel her pain, her fear, but also her strength. Mira gasped, looking at him in awe. The crystal, it bonded with you, David. You carry Valoran energy now. The collectors hesitated. Their weapons lowered slightly. David realized this was their chance. He reached out, touching the portal's control panel. The portal pulsed, bright, strong, and then the platform spoke in a calm voice. Bond confirmed. Family unit recognized. Portal ready. Mira looked up at David, tears in her glowing eyes. Together, she whispered. David nodded. Together. The collectors shouted, rushing forward, but it was too late. David, Mira, and Lila stepped onto the platform. A blinding flash of light swallowed them whole. The last thing David heard before the light took them was the frustrated scream of the alien collector. Stop them. They can't leave. But they were gone. A new beginning, the light faded. David blinked slowly as the world around him came into focus. They were no longer in the forest. Instead, they stood beneath a sky unlike any he had ever seen. Soft purple clouds drifting gently above two suns, glowing side by side on the horizon. The air was clean, almost sweet. Strange trees with silver leaves swayed in a peaceful breeze. Myra stood beside him, her arm around Lila. Both of them smiled, not with fear this time, but with relief. David took a deep breath. The ground beneath his feet was soft, almost warm. The portal behind them glowed gently, then faded. Closing with a soft hum, they had done it. They were on Valora. Lila ran forward, her laughter ringing in the quiet air. She knelt near a small blue flower that glowed faintly, touching its petals with wonder. Myra watched her, tears in her golden eyes. Then she turned to David. You saved us, she said softly. David shook his head. We saved each other. Mira smiled a real, peaceful smile this time and stepped closer. Her hand brushed David's cheek gently. David, I know you left everything behind to come here, she whispered. Your world, your life, your people. Are you okay with that? David looked around. The beauty of Valora filled him with wonder. But more than that, he felt a deep peace inside. He realized something important. Earth had not truly been home for him. He had been alone there. Here, he was needed. Here, he was part of something. I'm home now, he said simply. Myra's smile deepened, her glowing eyes shining brighter. Then, far in the distance, a group of Valorans approached, tall figures with shimmering skin and kind faces. They carried no weapons, only open hands. Mira squeezed David's hand gently. They are my people, she said, and because of the bond, they will honor you now as one of us. David felt a strange warmth in his chest as the Valorans bowed, slightly in greeting. He didn't understand all their customs, but he felt no fear. He felt welcome. Lila ran back to them, her small hands full of glowing flowers. Look what I found, she said happily, holding them up to David. David knelt and took one flower carefully. Beautiful, he said. Lila giggled and hugged him tightly. You're my papa now, she whispered shyly. David's eyes widened. He glanced at Mira, but Mira only smiled gently and nodded. David hugged the child back, feeling emotion rise in his chest. Deep, real emotion. He was part of this family now, And as they stood together beneath Valora's twin suns, David realized something else. This wasn't just a new place. This was a new life. A second chance. The pain of leaving Earth. The danger they had faced. All of it had led him here. His journey was complete. But his adventure was only just beginning. Together, they walked forward, David, Mira, and Lila, toward the city of Valora in the distance, where strange towers sparkled and soft music floated on the wind. Behind them, the portal closed forever.